have the amazing Pam Sears here. Now, Pam is, and I'm going to use the word veteran, and she'll throw something at me if she could get through the screen, a psychic medium with, she's also an author, and that's pretty amazing. Hi, Pam. How are you?
I'm fabulous. How about you? Thank you for having me here.
Oh, you're more than welcome. It's so exciting to have you here. Your books have interested me, especially No No Nap. But before we get on to that, can you just tell me a little bit about your story? Because you came to the spiritual world in your 40s, late 30s, early 40s?
I would say things began to change in my mid-30s. I knew that there was always chatter and people were talking to me since I was a child, but I didn't really know what that was. I just thought I had my own voice talking to me. But in the mid-30s, it's like, it's time. And I still fought it for a little while. And then in my late 30s, in the corporate world, I got fired. And
well, the universe will often put you on the path that you are supposed to go on. So that being fired is everyone else's gain, to be fair.
Yes.
But you started reading, but you got your guides were the ones that helped you.
During that time, I was, doing the old MSN spiritual chat rooms and meeting some people, doing a few workshops and things, but there was no mentor out there. There was no development circles.
Yep.
And so it was my guides and I that worked together.
Mm-hmm. And how did you learn to trust that?
It was the same people who had been talking to me my whole life. And so when it became time for things to open up, I had, I know who you are. I understand. And they put things in my path to help me move forward. And I was actually swimming laps and I said, I don't know where I go now that I've been fired. And the very deep voice said, massage college. And I stopped swimming because I thought somebody was in the pool and I was swimming alone.
I've done that.
And so that started everything. I thought I was just going to be a massage therapist, but then it was a lot more than that. Messages were beginning to come through. I was taught to do some healing energy. Do you want to hear an interesting story about healing energy and how I started on that? I was a massage therapist. I had an elderly gentleman show up and he had the most crystal blue eyes. I was just drawn to those blue eyes. So he just, quickly make a long story short, he, said, well, I have this shoulder pain. And I said, okay. And I told him he goes, no, we're going to do something different. And I thought, who's the massage therapist here? And he kept arguing with me about, I want you to do blah, blah. Then my guide said, do it. Just do it. So he was showing me the energy and how I could feel the congestion. And he was showing me how to move this energy. And so I said to him, who are you? Where did you come from? And he said, I'm just a traveler. So that got me not only as massage work, but the healing energy work. And then from there, lots of things happened that put me on also, doing more of the mediumship.
That's amazing. People will come into our life at the right time. That always amazes me when that happens. I had a very similar story where I came across, I call her my mentor, and she's not really, she's just somebody that's helped me on my path. And she's an amazing medium, but I met her by accident. And she's in the UK, but I met her by complete accident. And she's mentored me to an extent or helped me with certain things and understanding certain things. But I love the fact that people meet us by accident. So you went from massage therapist. Do you do healings as well still, or is that something that's you don't do anymore? Yeah,
I retired from doing the massage work because I'm 70. I've been doing it for, you know, since I was 40. So yeah, and I was good with that. I still do the energy healing work. I do it long distance, but it was time to make a change. And you know, I had both. I had the massage, the healing. I had the mediumship. So something had to go.
So you have to be able to concentrate on one thing, especially when you're so busy. Yes. And on top of that, you are also an author, which absolutely amazes me. It's just so great. You've written 3 books. Your first book is spiritual poetry,
inspirational poetry.
Correct?
Yes.
And when did you write that?
That over the years, I just had them all stacked together. I knew that there would come a time that I was going to publish, and there's a long story into why, but I decided to finally put those together, and my editor said, let's do themes with the book. So there's different themes for inspirational poetry in the book.
Fantastic. And what's that called?
That is called Whispers of the White Dove.
And your second book is a mix of hospice stories.
Yes. There's some hospice stories. There is I won't claim it, the cancer journey. Some spiritual short stories, and that one's called Heart of the White Dove.
That's amazing. And those are both available on Amazon. Yes. Correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the book that I am the most excited about is No No Nap, which was written for your grandson, Xander. You have 2 grandsons now, which is even more exciting. And it explains spirit guides and those that have passed over to a toddler, basically. Tell me a little bit about the process of why you chose to do that, because I really want to explore the fact that so many children do see spirit, but they don't necessarily grow up knowing.
Correct.
That that's what they can do.
The process was, as you well know, the books were spirit guided. This new book was spirit guided. The words were channeled all the way through. I wanted to write the book not only for little ones to understand, hey, you're okay. You're okay. There's nothing wrong with you. But there's a section in the back of the book for parents. If parents were to keep open and talking and accepting and saying, who do you see? I think children would stay more open instead of shutting down.
Absolutely. Yes. I totally agree. I saw my first spirit at 7 or 8. And I've explained that in the first episode of this podcast. And I was told that I was imagining things. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until years later, when I saw a picture of the person that I saw, that I realized who had come to visit. But I switched off for a really, really long period of time. What's your experience with children that see spirit, and what sort of age group do you think it happens, and when did it?
You know, I would say 3, 4, 5, possibly. I mean, children that are coming into the world now, I mean, they're just like wide open, compared to what it was before. And, you know, children, even those who are tiny that cannot speak or know, somebody will point at a picture.
Yes.
I've seen that over and over again. I've had experiences with children that would say, I was their mama. I did this, I did that. And parents would be like, especially if they don't understand reincarnation. So yes. And they're so young and they're so innocent. They cannot make this up. They can't.
They can't make it up. And I think it's it's an interesting fact. I get asked a lot about children that see spirit and parents like, what do I do to encourage them? What do I do to help them? Now, a child that sees spirit doesn't necessarily go on to do spiritual work, because they can close themselves off very early on because of fear, because of, well, it's a natural progression, or I feel it's a natural progression. And it's up to them as an individual when they get older as to whether they want to open themselves up again.
Yes, I agree. However, I think a lot of times they're shut down earlier because you're in school, you're in society. Society doesn't still accept a lot of that. And so it's a shame, because I think, and you're right, they get afraid, like, oh, there must be something wrong with me.
Yeah. So I've always been, well, I have lately been pushing people towards your book, because
thank you.
It's something that people can sit down with their children and explain. And even, I think that book is even good for people like children up to 10. I know it's a picture book and a story book, but I think up to around the age of 10, excuse me, it's a really good concept to be able to teach.
And so when in the back of the book where I say, this is for you parents, that gives you clues, and it helps you understand what's happening, encouraging the children. And that's important, because like I said, if we keep encouraging them, maybe they will stay open.
Absolutely. The more we encourage, the more they will stay open. My voice is annoying me today. It's very early here, just so that listeners know. I had to get up at 6 o'clock. Poor Pam, we were backwards and forwards trying to work out the time difference. Pam is in Arizona. I am in Melbourne, Australia. And it's Saturday morning, and I set my alarm. It is Saturday today, isn't it? It is Saturday.
Friday here.
I set my alarm for 6 a.m. Yes, I set my alarm for 6 a.m. this morning, so I had to make sure that I had enough coffee in my system to do this interview. But children, what we don't want to do is scare children, and we don't want to tell them that they are making it up or that they are imagining it. It's not the imaginary friend that is with them. It is their spirit guides. It is people that have passed before them. It is relatives. What advice would you give to parents who are experiencing their children seeing spirits?
The first thing I would say is, and children are sponges and they pick up on energy. Don't become fearful. The more you fear, the children are like, okay, there's, I can pick up that energy. Don't be afraid. Be open. I encourage parents to say, oh, well, what do they look like? What's their name? Do they have a message? Do you want to tell me more? And if you do this with an open, positive attitude, the children will be encouraged to share.
Yes, absolutely. But the one piece of advice that I would give personally is don't parade them in front of your family and friends like a performing seal.
Thank you.
Because that will scare them. Because some parents will be so excited that their child can see spirit, and they'll go, oh, tell grandma, tell your teacher, tell this person, do it now. And that is going to make them very, very fearful.
That's a good point. Yes.
And you've got a second grandchild, so we're looking forward to a second book. But if you want to order No Nap, it is on Amazon. Yes. US, because I tried to order it in Australia, but I think it's just the US at the moment.
Well, there's a UK, so I don't know why there wouldn't be. If you are able to have Amazon in your country, you should be able to.
I can order it, but I have to change. I have to change to the American Amazon, which I do all the time. It doesn't really bother me. And you can order that on Amazon. No Nap by Pam Sears. I do want to ask you about the amazing illustrations.
The beautiful illustrations, and I'll just bring this up really quick. I mean, look at those illustrations.
Look at
So the illustrator and my editor gave me a few names, okay? And the other illustrators never called me back. This one, we had a quick meeting and she goes, I'm fascinated by the subject, but it's not anything that I know about. I'm a little concerned about it. Let's think about it separately and then we'll come together. She had her mom who was on hospice and she was talking to her mom about this, who was a very religious person, very religious Catholic, I believe. And she said to her mom, I'm, concerned about this, but I'm intrigued. And her mom said, I think you need to do it. You need to do this
amazing
book. Now, what was interesting, and we were on the same page. I asked her if you could see this. I asked her to include all cultures as the spirit guides. I wanted every culture represented. So now he has his two main guides, Liam and Lexi. And there's, special reasons why I named whomever. And she did a beautiful job of this. My words were guided. Her illustrations were guided.
That's an amazing story. They are beautiful. And the image on the front, how close is that to Xander, your grandson?
That looks just like him. Yes.
Oh, what an amazing book for him to grow up with.
And I personally, and my son and daughter-in-law are also in the book and they look just like themselves in the book. And, they know what I do. They accept what I do. And I said to them, I want to do this book. Do I have your permission? And they're going, absolutely, absolutely. So they're pretty proud of this book. Yes.
Well, as they should be. Everyone should be pretty proud of you. That's an amazing story. How amazing for your grandson to grow up with that in his bookcase. And I am looking forward to the one that you write for your new grandson, Leo. That one's going to be exciting. Anything else you want to add to this that you would like people to know about children that are seeing spirit?
I would like to say for everyone, all children are born open. All children are born
Absolutely.
Open. How many times people have said, oh, they have an imaginary friend. Those are not imaginary friends. But I even me growing up, my mother would say, I don't know who in the hell she's talking to. And I would say, well, they're my friends. I didn't have any other name for them and such. And
absolutely.
Yeah, so every child is open. Every child has that opportunity. But I would just say to parents, whatever you do, please stay open and don't raise fear in those children.
Absolutely. And don't push it too much either. It's a fine balancing act, I think. And one thing I'm going to add to this before we finish up is that I was never lonely as a child. I was very much a loner, but I was never lonely.
Me too.
So I had lots of spirit guides and past loved ones around me, and everyone would say, she always plays on her own. No, I was never on my own.
Me too, yep.
Well, thank you. Pam, I will put all your contact details in the show notes, including your links to Amazon to purchase this book. I cannot recommend this book for parents enough. It is amazing. And even if you are expecting, grab it for the bookcase. Thank you, Pam.
For having me. I so appreciate being here with you.
You are more than welcome.